What would you trade? For a bowl of stew? One man traded his future. Genesis chapter 25, verse 23. The Lord said to her, "Two nations are in your womb. The older will serve the younger." Long before the brothers were born, their story had already begun. Isaac and Rebekah had prayed for many years to have a child. For a long time, their home had been silent. But finally, God answered their prayers. Rebekah became pregnant, yet something strange was happening inside her. The children struggled within her womb. The movement was so intense that Rebekah cried out to God, "Why is this happening to me?" And God answered her. Two nations were growing inside her, two rivals, two brothers whose destinies would shape history. And God revealed something unexpected. The older brother would serve the younger. In a world where the firstborn always received the blessing, God had already chosen a different path. Genesis chapter 25, verse 24 through 25. The first to come out was red, and his whole body was like a hairy garment. So they named him Esau. When the time came for Rebekah to give birth, the first baby came out strong. His skin was red, and his body was covered with hair. So they named him Esau, which meant hairy. Moments later, another child was born, but this one was different. As he emerged, his tiny hand was holding his brother's heel. So they named him Jacob, which meant the one who grasps the heel, or more simply, the one who replaces. From the moment they were born, the struggle had already begun. Genesis chapter 25, verse 27. Esau became a skillful hunter, while Jacob stayed among the tents. As the boys grew older, their differences became clear. Esau loved the wild. He became a hunter, strong, rugged, fearless in the open fields. He spent his days chasing animals across the wilderness. Isaac loved Esau because Esau brought him fresh game. But Jacob was very different. He preferred the quiet life of the camp. He stayed close to the tents, learning, observing, planning. Rebekah favored Jacob, and though they were brothers, a quiet rivalry had begun to grow between them. Genesis chapter 25, verses 29 through 30. "Quick, let me have some of that red stew. I'm famished." One day, Esau returned from the wilderness. He was exhausted, hungry, weak. Jacob was cooking a pot of stew. The smell filled the air. Esau rushed towards him. "Give me some of that stew." But Jacob saw an opportunity. "Sell me your birthright." In their culture, the birthright was everything. It meant leadership of the family, double inheritance, honor. But Esau was desperate. What good is a birthright if I'm starving? And in that moment, Esau traded his future for a bowl of stew. Genesis chapter 27, verse 18 through 19. "I am Esau, your firstborn," Jacob said. Years later, Isaac had grown old. His eyesight had failed. He believed death was near. So he called Esau. "Bring me food from the hunt, and I will bless you." But Rebekah overheard. She remembered God's prophecy, and she formed a plan. She told Jacob to disguise himself as Esau. She prepared food like Isaac loved. Then she covered Jacob's arms with goat skins to mimic Esau's hair. Jacob entered his father's tent, and Isaac asked a question that echoed through history. "Who are you, my son?" Jacob answered with a lie. "I am Esau." And Isaac gave him the blessing meant for the firstborn. Genesis chapter 27, verse 34. When Esau heard his father's words, he burst out with a loud and bitter cry. Soon after, Esau returned from the hunt. He prepared the meal for his father and brought it to Isaac. But Isaac was confused. Who was the one who brought me food earlier? And suddenly, the truth became clear. Esau had been deceived. His blessing was gone. His future had been stolen. Esau cried out in agony, "Bless me too, Father!" But the blessing had already been given, and Esau's grief turned into anger, a dangerous anger. He swore to kill his brother. Genesis chapter 27, verse 43. "Now then, my son, do what I say. Flee at once to my brother Laban." Rebekah knew the danger. Esau was planning revenge, so she warned Jacob, "Run, leave the camp, travel far away." Jacob left everything behind, his home, his family, his land, and he fled into the wilderness. The deception had worked, but it came with a cost. Jacob had gained the blessing, but he had lost his brother. The story of Jacob and Esau is more than a story about two brothers. It is a story about choices. Esau chose the temporary over the eternal. Jacob chose deception instead of trust. Both men made decisions that changed their lives forever, and their conflict would shape generations. But the story leaves us with a question that echoes even today. What are we willing to trade for the things we want? Our integrity, our family, our future? And when the moment of decision comes, will we choose wisdom or regret?
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more animated Bible mysteries every week.